Welcome to my Dirt Bird project. My name is Jane Corner and I'm going to show you the process of making your very own dirt bird. My inspiration came from having looked at the sculptures of the sculptor Lawrence Edwards. I've made two versions of my dirt bird. The first version was made using PVA glue, which is a white runny glue that you can get from most DIY stores or hardware stores. My second version was made by making my own glue. I made the glue using a mix of flour and water with a pinch of salt and made into a thick paste. So, let's begin. So to start, we're going to get our hand sanitizer bottle and we're going to unscrew the lid, and then we're going to fill it up with our stones that you might collect from your garden. Fill the bottle about quarter way up and then screw back down the lid. The reason why we put the stones in is so that it weights our bird and our bird will not fall over. We are then going to get our stick and we're going to fix it with our tape. You can use masking tape or sellotape and stick it to the back of our bird. If you put it in a cross shape, it will fix it quite securely and round. So we've now got our stick for our wings of our bird on the back. We're then going to get our glue and then we're going to brush all over our bird with the glue. Make sure you put a nice thick layer of glue all over. We're then going to cover our bird with little pieces of torn up newspaper. So you can just put it on and then you can give it a quick coat over the top. So we're going to cover the whole bird with the paper. Once we've covered the main body of the bird, we're now going to concentrate on the wings. So for the wings, we're going to need to have some strips of torn up pieces of paper. So you can tear them as wide or as thin as you like. So take one of your strips and then what you need to do is make sure you get plenty of glue and brush it onto your newspaper. Brush it onto both sides, and then what we're going to do is we're going to drape it over the wings and then squeeze it together, and there we have it. And so continue over the whole length of the bird. So I finished draping the newspaper on his wings, and so now I'm going to add a little bit of height onto his head. So to do this, I'm going to find a little bit of newspaper and I'm going to crumple it up, and I'm just going to place it on the top of his head. You might want a couple of crumpled up bits of newspaper, depending on how high you want his head to be. So I'm just going to fix it on like that. And there you can see he's got a bit more shape to his head. We've now covered our bird, so at this stage we need to leave him to dry. I prepared one earlier, so here's my dry bird. So the next stage is we're now going to coat another layer of our glue, whether it's flour and water or your PVA glue. So we'll cover completely. Once we've covered the bird with glue, we can now then go and get our box of soil and leaves and bits of moss, bits of thin twigs or little bits of weed that you can find in the garden, some old leaves. And then if you then sprinkle and press it in with your hands so it's all nice and messy. So this is the fun bit. So, and you can press it into your bird. Don't worry if bits fall off it, that will happen. And so we're going to cover the whole bird. I've now put on my first layer of soil onto my bird, so I'm now going to leave him to dry. My bird's now dry, so now I'm going to do the beak. So I'm going to get a little bit of tin foil, so if you just tear off a little bit, and then with your glue just brush his beak, and then just wrap it round his beak so that you've got a bit of a beak colour going on. And then I'm going to tear a little bit of tin foil for his eyes and put it either side of his head and just squash it on to the side of his head. When we do the next covering of soil, the eyes and beak will get covered a little bit, but you can scrape through. There we go. We are now going to cover the whole of the bird with another layer of glue. Once you've covered your bird with glue, we're now going to put another layer of soil. But this time you can either sprinkle it on again like we did before, or you can get some soil and you can mix it into the glue. So I'm going to put it all into the pot, and then I'm going to give it a good stir. I'm going to give it a good stir until we have something. You'll find that it'll change colour, so it'll change from white to a grey colour. You need to put in quite a lot of soil, so it's really coating the soil with glue, and then you can cover the whole of the body with the glue. So you can either sprinkle it like before, or you can get it into your hands and then you can smear it on, and you find that it will stick really well, and you can put some textures in, and you can get some leaves and drape it over. And then with the wings, you'll find that when the wings get wet again with the glue, they become soft, so you need to be really gentle with applying the soil mix, and that goes for if you're sprinkling it as well. So cover your whole bird. You can do a mixture of sprinkling as well, so if you want to sprinkle some on afterwards, you can sprinkle it and then gently pat it down. So we've now covered the bird with our soil mixture, but you might want to brush away a little bit, wipe a little bit off its beak, because it would have covered his beak, so you can get a little bit of the foil showing through. And if your eyes have disappeared, then you can put another little bit of tin foil on, or you might be able to scrape away to find his eye again. And think about how you want his head to look. So you might want to get a little bit of a dry leaf to stick on to give him a bit of character, or you might want to find a little bit of twig to put into that mix. So we've now completed our bird, so the next thing is we need to leave it to dry. I hope you've had a lot of fun, a lot of messy fun, creating your dirt bird. And it would be lovely if you could take a photo of your finished bird and post it on the SPUD Works website.